Hey, I'm Dave, and you're listening to another episode of Dying to Listen, presented by the Disc Golf Dyers Guild. Today, we have a very special guest, Sota Disc, Josh, from Minnesota here. So thank you for joining us on this podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. Definitely a pleasure.
So, I always ask this question, but I'm assuming you play disc golf because you have a tournament tomorrow. But what got you into playing disc golf?
Just kind of playing with some buddies out in the woods when I was living up in northern Minnesota, like 10 years ago. And just here within the last year, my cousin took me down to Kansas and caddied for him at Emporia last year. And I decided to get a PDGA number and get full blown into it and kind of took it a little serious since.
Nice. So when did you start playing and how long have you been playing?
I guess I've owned disc golf discs for like 10 years, but seriously playing for the last year. Actually like trying and putting my all into it.
Nice. Why do you like disc golf?
I love getting out into the woods and just enjoying that time out there. It's really peaceful, especially up here in Minnesota. We got a lot of like woods golf, and I just enjoy the scenery and try to find the good part of it when I'm in the thick of it.
Nice. Where in Minnesota are you located?
Currently, I live in southern Minnesota, in Faribault, Minnesota. One of those weird towns, when you see it, that's not how you'd pronounce it.
Gotcha. What's your favorite course in that area?
So I would personally say there's a private course that's pretty private but public. It's on private land, and that's C and A Soren Saucers is like my favorite so far. But I would say there's so many around here that Minnesota's got a lot of great courses. That's for sure.
Yeah, I feel like this area, it has a plethora of disc golf courses to choose from.
Absolutely. You can stay busy trying them all.
Yeah, I mean, even here in southeast Wisconsin, I haven't played them all yet, and there's a lot.
Absolutely.
So, you also disc dye. What got you into that, and when did you start?
Well, Minnesota winters can be kind of long. So, not this year, I guess we got lucky. There really wasn't any snow at all. Played disc golf almost every other week this all winter. So, I would say what got me really into it would be the fact that I was getting these mystery boxes, and I didn't love getting green discs and orange discs, and I couldn't find them, so I wanted a way to actually try to find these discs. So got bored in the winter. Actually, like 2 months ago I started, and kind of just went all in on that too, I guess. So it's kind of a thing of mine.
Nice. I'm catching a theme here. So you are really new to disc dyeing then?
Yeah, absolutely.
What, besides the really long and annoying Minnesota winters, what else made you want to try disc dyeing?
I just loved seeing all of these different custom discs that everybody was carrying around in my area. I saw a lot of them when I was in Emporia last year, and it kind of triggered that side of things, and I wanted to take a stab at it. And so I ordered a little kit off of Amazon and tried Floetrol and kind of nailed it right away. In my opinion, I loved it, and so kind of taking the ball and rolling from there.
Yeah, wow, starting with Floetrol. Way to go. Where did you get your information, or where did you learn how to disc dye?
So I would say like just listening to podcasts and listening to YouTube videos. I drive all day long, and so I get an opportunity just to consume information. And so I just got a chance to like listen to a lot of YouTube videos from, I say like Littlebot I think is his name. Listened to a lot of his stuff, and then there was a couple other people that were doing different like flow trawl techniques. I'm like, well, that looks easy. Let's just follow it step by step with what they're doing, and turns out I can get a couple things right on that one. So that's how I started.
How many episodes of Dying to Listen did you listen to, if any?
All of them, pretty much. Like I all the recent ones. I'm waiting for a new one to come out. I just listened to all the recent ones for sure.
Nice. Well, now you can listen to yours.
I don't know if I'm going to listen to mine. I was here. I did it.
Yeah. I basically listen to like 3 times because I'm here recording it, then I have to edit it, then I watch it again. So disc dyeing, was it intimidating for you at all? Did you have any hesitations at all? Or are you just like, I'm just going to try it and see what happens?
I guess I didn't really have much for hesitations with it. I just really like I said, I just followed the steps, and it just so happens the first one I got turned out in a good way. And it's like, okay, let's just keep this ball rolling. And I kind of feel like the flow trawl cells turn stuff into camouflage a little bit for me. So I'm got a cameo, and now I'm kind of going to try to incorporate the two together is going to kind of the way I'm going to kind of work with this. And I found that it's really time consuming with weeding stencils. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Nice. Well, you're leveling up with the stencil game, but you can also get sucked down the rabbit hole with that. Did you buy the cameo specifically for this?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I like you. What other methods have you tried so far?
So what I've kind of been experimenting with is like I have flow trawl mixed together, and I've been using that as like actual like painting. Mm-hmm. So I guess I would say I'm doing kind of your lotion painting, but with flow trawl and with some acetone, denatured alcohol, kind of different textures, a little bit play in there, but mostly like flow trawl painting and cell beds and hot dip. So kind of what I'm messing with right now.
So basically everything.
Other than a turntable, spin dies, which I bought a little turntable, but it's still sitting in the garage. It's a little dinky one. I don't think it'd even hold a disc without some kind of jig. So,
like Dave's Spin Dad jig rig?
I was kind of thinking something like that.
Well, if you know, I know a guy, and if you need one, I can get you one. So there's that.
I think we could figure something out.
Fantastic. So backing up to your first disc, what was the actual disc that you dyed?
I could grab it and tell you the name of it. It came in a mystery box. It was white, and it was a St. Patrick's one that came out of a sake bomb box that had like some crazy green stamp on it. I'm like, it's flat. I'm going to do that one. And so white premium plastic. I didn't really throw it much. And so that's the one I started with. And yeah.
Nice. How many discs do you think you've dyed so far?
I would say like easy 30, somewhere in that range, probably like 20 to 30, just in like the ones that I like really like and are proud of, probably like 10, like the first like 2 cell beds. And then after that, it's like, oh, this is kind of an experiment.
Those are some pretty good numbers for just beginning to disc dye, basically within this year.
The cell beds kind of are like like second gen, third gen. You're kind of like adding colors to it. It can go kind of quick that way. But with the stencils, it's just slowed so far down. It's like, all right. And then disc golf took over. So that'll happen.
So do you have any like art background or any formal art training?
No. But my mom is very artsy, so she helped me with the cameo. She owns one, so that was a huge help there, but no art background or anything like that.
I find it interesting and fascinating that almost every disc dyer doesn't have any formal art training or does not consider themselves an artist. And I that's awesome that those type of people have this creative outlet.
I definitely enjoy it, and big thing is just follow the color wheel and just don't make brown, and it'll look all right.
Yes. The leafy colored brown cells do not really work well.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I shank it a lot, so it'll be gone right away.
Camouflage. It's camouflage instantly. Yeah, no, thank you.
And for the discs that you have dyed, have you used heat at all?
Yes. Yep. I use a heat lamp. I think 250 watt heat lamp hung from my rafters. I'm in my lab, so just hung right here.
Nice.
So get to the secret part of that here coming up.
Well, what's the secret?
Oh, well, so Minnesota recently became recreational, for all the fun stuff. Well, this is a grow lamp ratchet, and it's extendable. I just took this one out of the package. I'll show you the package. And so I hang them from the rafters. And what that does is I can adjust the heat based off of how far the light is from the disc, and then I can just pull it up and get it out of the way.
Well, that's a thing that I didn't know existed.
It's kind of a niche that's definitely, this is not what it was created for. But I had them hanging out, and I'm like, oh, let's try it for that. And it works really well for dialing in the temperature.
Nice. Does it swing too much sometimes? No?
Not at all. Solid.
Do you know how warm or hot you get your discs? I don't know if you have like a thermometer that you use at all.
I've got a temp gun, and it's about 120 degrees is what I shoot for. Sometimes with the light, there's a delay, and so you come back and it's 130, and it's like, oh, it's a little warm. So I try to really shoot for 110 to 120.
Nice.
With the Floetrol.
Man, I feel like you just know everything for doing this such a short time. What the hell?
It's just mass consumption of information on podcasts. It definitely helps.
Yeah, back in my day,
you got to read a book. It'd be definitely a little longer of a learning curve.
You kids nowadays have it so easy. All the information just handed to you, which is great.
Yeah, trial and error after that, right?
Yeah, and speaking of that, have you tried experimenting with anything at all this time?
Oh, I guess everything at this point is kind of an experiment, right? But I guess my experiment was like hand lotion painting with Floetrol. Like I was kind of asked online, they're like, well, why would you do that? I'm like, it's already all mixed up, so I'm going to just try that. And so that's what I've been doing, and it's just solid. It works just as well as I could imagine for what I'm trying to do with it. So that's kind of my experimenting at this point.
Nice. Yeah. Floetrol is a bit runny, and I think that's why people like using lotion. Have you had any issues, especially like on domier discs, with the Floetrol, that when you paint it on or color it on or squirt it on, with it running down the disc?
I guess I'm just I don't put a lot on, and I just put a little dab on, and then I like push it to where I want it with the end of like a wood handled Q-tip type of deal, and just push it to right where I want it. And once I get it to where I want it, I do a lot of glue masking and next to the areas that I'm trying to protect in the next step. And then it goes into my oven, which is the heat lamp as well, but with a wet paper towel underneath the disc and a cake pan on top, and just heating the cake pan and just creating a little oven.
So I do that with lotion for the lotion not to dry out, but I've never really painted with Floetrol, and I don't know if Floetrol would dry out the same as lotion. I'm assuming it would.
It does. And so today I was just kind of knocking out the next steps on this disc that I'm working on. And I had a chiropractor appointment that went longer than the hour timer I had, came back 2 hours later, and I was scrubbing it off, and it was hard. I bet you could have flipped it up and it would have moved. And I thought, well, let's see what happens. And it comes out super solid. But granted, the way it was glue masked, I wouldn't know what the edges. I guess the edges that dried first, I guess didn't make any difference. No, so.
Have you had any like weird splotching or anything with your Floetrol painting, or has it been like a pretty solid color?
It's been super solid for the most part. I did a Simpsons Aliens disc, and the green just 100%. Everything that was supposed to be green was green. There was a little. I'm still learning glue masking, and so there's still little spots from that. But yeah, it's super solid. No splotching, no issues.
Nice. I mean, you already have the Floetrol mixed with color. Why not?
It would be a waste to mix it with the lotion for only one use of lotion, where this Floetrol, I can use it for basically everything now, is what I'm kind of learning. And then the other stuff for like the acetone or denatured for a different kind of look that's not solid would be when I use that kind of stuff.
Well, if you do want to learn more about painting with denatured alcohol, we just released a video on the Dyers Guild website from Brittany from Ugly Hand Dyes. She basically goes through her entire process, but her bread and butter is the DA shading, and she just goes through that. So even I learned a lot from that.
That's awesome. I have it all to do it. I guess the containers is the next intimidating part. I have been buying the little mason jars, and it's like I need to buy the little plastic ones in bulk and then just kind of batch out a lot of that stuff and start knocking out some denatured. That'd be awesome.
Gotcha. Well, if you're interested, we also have some HDPE bottles that you could use.
Oh, well, I know where my next purchase is coming in from.
We got all your dye supplies. This is like a giant
shop.
advertisement.
Gotta plug it.
Pretty much. So with your stencils, a few questions on that. One, where have you been getting your stencils?
So I will find an image, any image, and I think I even heard it on your podcast of app Vector Q, maybe, or something like that. Something that vectorizes images. So any Google, I even turned some images of from my camera into stencils. So I get them from everywhere. So, but mostly Google, and I just did one, like a picture of my wife even. So yeah, you could do anything.
Cool beans. And for your stencils, what mixture do you use to get your black on your stencils?
So that is, I use a lot of Jacquard. Is that the
iDye poly?
iDye poly. Yes, the black. And then I use a little bit of the onyx. So I use 3 parts iDye, 1 part onyx in a mason jar water mix, and just kind of reuse that.
So you do hot dipping then, right?
Yes, for the stencil part, yeah.
How long do you typically have your disc in the bath?
I guess it does vary. 7-minute intervals, 7 to 10-minute intervals, just kind of judging it just based off of how black it is. And if it's a more see-through disc, then I kind of just hold it up and see how that kind of compares. There
you go. And speaking of colors, what are some of your favorite colors that you like to use?
Oh boy, Caribbean blue. Dig the Caribbean blue. That's probably my favorite, but then I guess everything else has been kind of, for the most part, pretty on the neutral side. I like everything else. I just bought the neon kit, and just used the pink for the very first time, the cerise. Dig that, but I haven't used it in a cell bed yet, so I'm looking forward to trying that one out for there. But
yeah, I really like the neon colors because it's practical for me because it's easy to find the disc.
absolutely, yeah, I just kind of been working through that little, it was like a 12 pack of the little baggies from ProChem as like my starter kit, and then a few eye-dye colors that I could pick up locally. I picked those up too.
Very cool. I know you said you got a lot of discs from your mystery boxes, but do you have a favorite plastic and or disc manufacturer that you like to dye?
So Trilogy is what I have a lot of. So I guess like your Dynamic and West Side, Lat 64, stuff like that. So I was getting a Saki Bomb subscription box. So that's kind of, and then when I was in Emporia, I kind of went a little crazy when I was down there. So I picked up a few while I was there.
I'll say that's why you like going there.
Just, it's definitely a kid in a candy store kind of. And then I live so close to Gotta Go, Gotta Throw here in Minnesota. Yeah. And that's super crazy. That's pretty awesome as well. So I would say Fission plastic from oh gosh, I think that's Dynamics version, but just like anything white and anything premium, and what not transparent.
Nice.
The word opaque is the word I was looking for. So
yeah,
something you can't see through, so it actually takes that color, the stained glass kind of look. I like the full saturation of the color. So
right on. So I know you're still new to disc dyeing, but do you have a favorite disc dyeing tool that you could not live without?
Yes, and I created it.
Oh, what is it?
I did I guess the first one, which turned out great, but it is what it is. And I used Saran wrap, and I hated it. I hate Saran wrap not using dye and Floetrol. So what I did was I found some like plastic like material that you would normally make like stencils out of, like spray paint, like make a stencil for spray painting out of, and made little spatulas for pulling your pullover color while you're dyeing. So I would say that is like my favorite tool so far.
That is, I was gonna say that is really cool. I don't think I've ever seen something like that before.
I didn't either, but I just hated cellophane so much, so I wanted to come up with something. So I kind of came up with it. I want to try to make a better handle for it because it doesn't get pressure all the way like side to side for the cell beds as well. So got a little smaller one to catch the edges or do smaller manipulations, things like that. And so it'd be nice to make like some kind of 3D printed handle that goes like full length. And so something I'm gonna kind of mess with a little bit.
Don't give me ideas with the 3D printed stuff here because I might do something. But have you ever looked into drywallers have these really wide trowels that could potentially work? I know they're metal, they're not horribly flexible, but I don't know if you tried that.
100% was what I was looking for, and decided I'm not going to spend whatever they want for those. And I wanted to just, was walking through the craft store because I was eyeballing a Cameo for, like 3 weeks. And I was looking for something to make this spatula out of. And I saw this stencil maker, blank paper. And I'm like, that's the material I'm looking for. That's just the right, it needs to be flexible to pull, but still rigid enough that it can stay put and move some material. So once I saw it, I just kind of ran with it and kind of used different little pieces of it for little manipulations or whatever, like making dots for Floetrol beds. I used it like made a little V and dipped that in the silicone and actually created like little different shapes with the stencil material that I made that special out of.
Were you the one that I saw that did that? I feel like someone
It was on a glow disc.
Someone did a cell bed, but it was like the flat edge of something instead of a point. So it was just a...
Can I grab it and show you?
Sure.
So if you can kind of see, like I just used a V shape of that same material and just made just different cell beds out of that. And just, like little different points, just like the flat edge. And it's kind of hard to see, but the glow makes it really pop with all that.
Yeah. Nice. It's always interesting to see how crafty disc dyers can actually be with the tools that they create.
You got to be unique somehow, and you got all this waste. You don't want to put it to waste. That's why you're dyeing these discs that you don't normally throw. So I feel like, got to be crafty and, well, on a budget. So
yeah. What is the easiest thing about disc dyeing, and what is the hardest thing about disc dyeing in your mind?
I would say, like, for me, the easiest part is the cell beds. Like, especially like a first gen cell bed, like it's just crispy and like the colors are where they should be, and I just find that like really satisfying to watch it all happen. And the hardest part, like I kind of mentioned, is the weeding. Would be like, of the stencils, would be like the part that I don't love. That's for sure. And then even like creating it, like, because I don't want to just, when I grab an image off of Google, I don't want just that image. I want to like make it my own somehow. And so then like trying to like make it unique and trying to add to it and not go way over the top with it. Like, so I'd say that, and then deciding on what one I want to make a stencil out of. Like, okay, just got to do it. Just start dipping.
There's so many choices. I don't know what to choose.
I got so many of them like loaded up into like the Cameo, like whatever program is like, just got to cut it and do it and just start dipping. Yeah.
That made me think back to the stencils. What vinyl do you like to use?
Oracle 651. Just I couldn't find flat colors when I was at Michael's or something like that here in the Metro, and so I just got the glossy white, and I do have a roll of the black as well as like a buy two get one free, so got kind of black and white and try that out. Just went through the whole kind of 10-foot roll of white, so now I'm going to try black and kind of go from there and decide on what color. So I've only done white vinyl, 651 Oracle.
So my personal preference, which is, right and everybody's wrong, I like the 651 in matte black. I like the matte because I feel like it's a little bit more malleable, so it's a little bit more flexible. Okay. And I also like the matte finish because then the white disc is shiny, then you have the matte black vinyl. And also I like black in general because you can tell how much black you got on dye for your stencil, so you can have kind of a reference of how black it is.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to trying the black next to see kind of the difference. So I'll definitely let you know what color I'm going to decide, but flat will definitely be my next decision. It's the glossy, it flexes, but there's like this snap point to it, and it like wants to more tear sometimes. I've run into a little bit here and there. So definitely looking forward to trying the black next and going flat. Buy a big roll off Amazon.
Yeah. It costs a few cents more, but I like getting the pre-cut 12 by 12 squares. Every time, except for this last time, they're basically perfectly flat, and you don't have to deal with like the curvature of it and the annoyance of that. But for some reason, the recent ones that I got, they were semi-curved. But in general, I like them. It just saves me a few saves me time from cutting them up. They're just already pre-cut.
Absolutely. I was on the fence about doing that until I was at Goodwill and I saw one of those like paper cutters, and I had to pick it up, and now it's just easy peasy. That's for sure.
Righto. Do you typically use like a giant sheet of vinyl, or do you kind of cut it to whatever stencil that you want to use, which now that I'm thinking about it, that you're using hot dip, you have to cover the entire disc anyways.
12 by 12, covering up that the sticky part, so, or whatever that is for the cameo, the pad. I don't know those technical terms for it yet.
So have you had any disc dyeing oopsies or accidents or mistakes?
I guess the only one I could think of is I was dropping a bottle of purple dye in my little like ketchup condiment squeeze containers, and it was lucky enough that it literally landed in my disc golf bag that was empty, and so I like tried to wipe it up the best I could, and now I've got little purple spots on the rims of some of my discs. So that was my biggest oops yet. So looking forward to it.
Unintentionally dyed some discs.
Yeah, just a little rim dye there, a little touch.
So I'm assuming, and it looks like that your dye lab is in your basement?
Yep, down in my like utility, like laundry area, storage, catch-all.
Do you have a utility sink down there?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of a one. My wife doesn't let anything that could dye anything out of here, so this is where it stays.
Yeah, I don't blame her. And, talking to other disc dyers that, go down the stairs or go up the stairs with the bed to wash in their kitchen sink, it's like, I would not do well with that.
I think that's maybe why I haven't had any accidents, because the pressure isn't there. It's down in the basement where it's dirty anyway. I've got a little, not dirty, but hot pad or cook stove for the hot dips, and I've got utility sink over here. I don't need to go far to make a big mess, so it's isolated.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of something to talk about, but you know everything because you just absorbed all this information.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to start trying some of like the combination of like that Floetrol and like solid colors, and then also want to get the spin dyes going. I think those are so cool and want to learn. That's the only part I haven't tried and consumed, and I guess I haven't tried the glue beds yet, but I have everything to kind of do it, and I like the Floetrol. I like how solid some of these colors are kind of coming out, but I do like that like kind of like an agate type look that you get out of that acetone and glue beds, and so I definitely want to give those a shot. So
yeah,
definitely want to learn those.
Once you do glue beds, you can never go back.
Oh boy. Oh well, now I know what I'm trying.
I like glue beds because it's hard to mess up for a beginner disc dyer, and when we teach our classes, that's what we do. And the results, again, it's hard to mess up, and everybody so far has loved the results that they have gotten, and they're first-time disc dyers.
The one thing I'm kind of curious on there, because I do want to, actually on this disc that I'm working on now, that's kind of, I think, the final step I want to touch. Can you use a glue mask to cover what I've already done, and then now, well, Elmer's glue, and then now do a glue bed with that without affecting that glue mask, because there's no heat, right?
Well, I do use heat with glue beds. So, yes, with an asterisk. The asterisk is, depending on the glue mask and the specific dye used, there are some dyes that do like to go through that glue mask. Specifically, I think Cersei Pink actually likes to go through glue mask sometimes, but for the most part, yes, you can mask off stuff with glue and put it in a bed.
Okay.
And if you don't use heat, it might be a little bit more safer, potentially.
Right. Because I definitely notice, like, when I'm washing these discs in between, the the Elmer's glue doesn't start coming off until the water starts to get warm, and then it starts to come off. So that's why I'm kind of worried about just spending hours on this disc and then just like dipping it in, and it's like, oh, well, that glue mask failed, and now I've just got a big old kind of pile of colors. So I haven't tried that. I want to do that with Floetrol, but I wasn't sure how it would react with Floetrol.
So I have done glue masks in clear glue beds with heat with no issue with the colors that I've used.
Okay. All right.
So, but again, there is that asterisk because some colors are a little annoying like that.
I'm sure it's that
depending on like
red.
Geez, that probably. But like the glue that you use to mask off, how thick the mask is can affect it. So
okay,
a couple variables.
I'm gonna definitely give it a shot. I just, depending on how in depth I've already done with the coloring lotion or Floetrol painting so far, and kind of see how risky I want to get with it. But this Rick and Morty dye, I think, is calling for a glue bed finish, so we'll see.
Nice. Well, test it out before you do it on a disc that you love.
I think that's kind of all of them so far. They're just discs. They're just pieces of plastic we huck in the air anyway. How much love are we? Yeah, all right, let's just try it out, and if it turns out bad, you just still throw it in the air anyway. So what's the worst that'll happen is kind of where I'm at.
That's the right attitude, because you can always make more.
Yeah, exactly. I've only done like 2 commissions for people, and so those ones I definitely take a lot more serious. But now it's just like, most of the part is just all trial and error and experimenting, and like I said, looking forward to trying some more of like the glue bed and like spin dyes and stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah. I really like spin dyeing as a finishing touch, the frame off the die. Like I like to spin dye the edge of the disc black to basically hide any, where the transition, where the bed is to the disc, that kind of hide that, to clean that up.
Yeah.
Just makes things look a little neater.
You still get that with the glue bed as well. I know with the Floetrol beds, I do definitely get that a little like edge sometimes, especially with the white disc. It'll stand out. So that's why I'm looking forward to doing a little spin dyeing.
Yeah. Since you do Floetrol, have you ever did a full submersion with a disc yet?
Not yet. I guess I've never gotten it that deep. I'm trying to be conservative. It's like $20 a gallon. I'm not trying to fill this whole like pie pan full, I guess. At least not yet. I don't know. I'm kind of starting to now like conserve and just like, okay, put all of this purple kind of mixed Floetrol together in this jar, and now I'm going to start using that as like a colored base for my cells and stuff like that. So instead of just getting rid of it and throwing it in the garbage. So
yeah. Well, with conserving materials, Floetrol I think is the technique / medium that uses the most stuff.
Absolutely. It's definitely not cost effective at all. It's definitely a lot going on, and when it comes, it's just for fun, and that's why I was trying to use Floetrol to paint with as well, because I just didn't want to keep on mixing more. It's like, all right, try to conserve as much as I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there, I know you kind of mentioned it, but is there anything that you would like to try disc dyeing wise? Which I feel like there's a lot of stuff that you want to try, but is there anything in particular that you want to try next?
I would definitely say it's going to be like a super vibrant with all these new neon colors. I got cell bed as a background to some stencil. I've got an idea. I already have a Minnesota Vikings stencil already cut out that I'm thinking about using as that. So we'll see. I've got a few purples. Only got one yellow. So I don't know what kind of cell I'll turn out with that, but look forward to doing a lot more like the cartoon, like kind of with a Floetrol background kind of thing for now, and until I get a little bit more equipment and the approval from the wife. So
Oh yeah, that's right. You're from Minnesota. I'm from Wisconsin. The Vikings. Boo.
Oh boy, well, I can't argue with you. It's been a little tough, so you got to just support where you're at, right?
Yeah. Does your wife do any disc dyeing?
No, she actually has kind of like showed some interest in like she's like, can I weed that for you?
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And she likes that before and after. I think she just finds it really like satisfying to like see what's underneath it and kind of do that. I'm like, yeah, sure, you could do that. So no dyeing yet. She did do one. It was definitely. We need some more white discs to show how cool some of these can be, but yeah, definitely she's got some interest. I think once we get her out there, she'll definitely love it.
Nice. I find that the ladies, for whatever reason, like to do the weeding of the disc.
No argument. I do lean on her and ask her like, what color should I do next to this one? Like, and she's definitely got the better eye for that than I do. So she helps where she wants to. She wants to be out of the messy side of things. She just hears whatever's going on in here and just stays out in the living room and kind of just hangs out and waits for the end result. That's what she's always excited about. Just kind of like, oh, can I see it? Like, just wait. You got to wait. So to try to make it a surprise and show her at the end type of deal. So if she's not weeding it, of course. But
yeah. Does she play disc golf with you?
No, not yet. Trying. I just maybe need to get her out without me is probably the thing. Just let her go out with maybe some other girlfriends or some other wives of some of my friends and just let her do a girls' day. I think that would be the better way. Maybe I take it too serious or something. I don't know. What it is.
I know how that goes. I'm trying to teach my wife how to drive manual, and I think I'm a good teacher, but I don't think she agrees.
Oof. Yeah, I guess I haven't had that experience yet, but it's pretty. I bet it's pretty comparable to teaching a wife how to play disc golf as well.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah, just step back. Yeah, well, go hit some trees. Yeah, I'll help find it.
Nice. Well, I think I definitely learned a bit about your adventure with disc dyeing. Was there anything else that you would like to touch on disc dyeing?
I guess nothing too crazy. I would just always say, like, for me, just be creative and, like, find something to make your life easier and just make it if they don't have it out there already and share it with other people. So then it makes other people their dyeing experience easier. So that's kind of, I guess, what I would leave it off with is just share the things that make this easier because it's hard enough the way it is. So.
Yeah, and I feel like you are already benefiting that from previous disc dyers of all the shared knowledge and cumulative, that's a hard word, knowledge. And yeah, definitely sharing what you create, sharing how you created it, and any unique tools that you use to create it.
Definitely. It's all kind of a learning curve, and if you're not learning, you're not having fun and not growing.
There you go. Wise words of wisdom.
Something like that, I guess. Just rambles, but it's something. Words.
Yeah. All right. Well, now we're going to get to know Josh more on a personal level. First set of questions that we have, our favorite faves. What is your favorite band or song?
Ooh, favorite band, I would say, is an artist, Prof. He's a Minnesota-based rapper. And so I'd say, like, he's my favorite just overall, like, performer and everything else. But songs, like, just something I'm, like, jamming to in the car is definitely, like, some Red Hot Chili Peppers, like Under the Bridge, or kind of varies from that to some other, like, sappy country songs every once in a while. But, yeah, it definitely varies. Huge varying.
Do you listen to any music when you dye your discs?
Yeah, it definitely gets a little, like, that's, like, it gets funky. It gets, like EDM, like, kind of like, well, like when I was doing some, like, these Rasta colors, It's like just get some like reggae EDM and just kind of get into the vibe. So yeah, but a lot of that kind of stuff mostly is like kind of just not a lot of words, just something to just kind of have in the background and just kind of enjoy the time with the disc, right, and the colors, and see what happens with these cells, and kind of enjoy that.
Nice. What is your favorite food?
I would definitely say like steak and burgers, like pretty Minnesotan, right? A lot of beef, so. But yeah, no, like steak and burgers are my favorite. Just out on the grill, anything you can grill is my favorite, especially now that it's getting nice. But that thing stays out all year long, just keeping it thawed out.
You can never go wrong with a good steak. So, what is your favorite cut of steak, and how done do you like them?
So T-bone is my preferred. Something about that little skinny side, that real tender side. Oh, I love it. And so if I'm ordering it, it's I say medium because I have no idea what you're gonna get sometimes. But like if I'm cooking it, it's just a little on the juicy side. I definitely have to take mine off before the wife's. Let's put it that way. So
Righto. And what is your favorite beverage?
So I actually work for a vending company, so it's awesome. I get all the beverages I could ever like try kind of thing. So that's pretty awesome. So my favorites are like C4 energy drinks, specifically like the pink Starburst one.
Yes.
Super awesome. Super awesome.
Kind of dangerous because they taste so good.
So good. Yeah. And it's like, I don't need that third one. No, I don't. Can I get a non-caffeinated version of this? And that'd be awesome. But I don't need all this caffeine. I just want the flavor. Yes. But when I'm going, non-caffeinated, it's like Arizona 50/50 Arnold Palmer's. That's my like go-to. But then at home, try to drink water.
Water is good, but flavor is nice.
It is. Definitely a little less tempting when you're at home. I'm not surrounded by it, so it's pretty easy at work just to grab something a little sweeter.
So besides disc golf and disc dyeing, what other hobbies do you have or other things that you like to do?
Got two little ones, 2 under 2. So there's not much that happens outside of the house at this point. Now that's getting nice. We're trying to get outside a little bit more, but hobbies like I guess just hanging out with them, spending some time with the kids and the family at just kind of different parks. And if I could play a little disc golf while we're at it, it's kind of just a bonus. But yeah, and then I guess get into some working on cars every once in a while if I have the space. I did a little like dirt track racing and hung out at some dirt tracks and stuff up in northern Minnesota for a couple years. So that was fun. But family, priorities, kind of getting outside, getting some camping done, and kind of just enjoying some time with them.
Nice. Yeah. I can see why you would have no time or money with those 2 kids.
Oh, boy. Yeah, it's definitely tough. So just kind of just make and do with what you got.
And when you can play some disc golf, where has been your favorite course that you played and or favorite hole so far?
I guess I'm not good enough to have a favorite hole yet, right? Like I haven't aced one, so I don't have a favorite that way. So I've got like a little private one, like I was mentioning, just north of Faribault, but then Rochester's got a really cool one, Driftless 18, that I played for one time last year, and some cool hills and elevations to kind of play around with. And there's a lot of them in the metro that are really cool. The one that I'm playing this weekend's in Cottage Grove, Minnesota, Oakwood. So that's a kind of a fun in the woods, but in and out kind of deal. So those are kind of what I'm into. If it's out in a park and it's like a 9-hole wide open, I'm going to kind of just drive past it and skip it unless it's here in town in Faribault, and then I'll just go just field work, and that's kind of the most I'll use it for here in town. But
yeah, it's kind kind of sad and disappointing when you watch some of these Pro Tour events where it's just like an open golf course. It's like, what's the fun in that? Where's the trees?
Yeah, I played a charity event this spring at I think it's called Brookview in Golden Valley, and it was at a golf course that they let disc golfers use during the winter months, and it's not my style. It was okay. It's fun, you know, if you want to throw some bombs or whatever, like, cool, but I don't know.
I find it interesting that people that grew up in, you know, more of the wooded courses really like the wooded courses versus the open stuff.
It's a love-hate with the wooded courses, you know, if there's not a lot of thorns and all that other, you know, let's say hazards. But yeah, no, it's definitely, now that I'm getting better and staying out of the woods more, it's a lot more enjoyable. That's for sure.
Nice. Do you have a course that is on your bucket list that you want to try?
I kind of knocked one off, and nothing too crazy yet. I guess there are some cool ones that I heard like north of the Twin Cities that would be cool to try, but again, I've heard they can be a little punishing. So it's like, okay, well, I don't know. But yeah, no bucket list yet. I've kind of knocked a few of them off this spring that I kind of want to try. Like that Driftless 18 in Rochester, I think was one. And then Red Oak in Egan was one that I wanted to try. That was definitely really cool, really fun.
Nice.
Yeah. Like trying kind of new ones.
So besides the Kansas City, is there any other Pro Tour events that you plan on stopping by? Like, I know the Preserve is more northern Minnesota.
Well, and it's not too terribly far from where I'm at. I've thought about it, but I don't have any others that I'm kind of stopping at. It's kind of playing it by ear at this point. The wife kind of let me schedule out to, you know, the Emporia tournament, and then from there it's kind of open. I'm going to try to play a couple more C tiers and some flexes, and that maybe head up to the Preserve, and that would be it. Can't do too much traveling right now.
Yeah, don't blame you. So next question that I have is, if you had to pick 3 discs to use for the rest of your life, to play any course, anywhere, anytime, what would those 3 discs be and why?
Oh boy. Well, I've got them. So is it a mold specific or a disc like, because I've got like a few discs that are like that would have to be the one, but definitely like just so the basics of Felon, Zone, and a Judge.
There you go. I
guess I throw a lot of forehand right now.
Okay.
So that kind of explains the stability there. So, but my Felon is an air Felon that I've just beat to tar, so it turns left when you throw it forehand, right? So, and then my Zone is like you can eat cereal out of because it's so puddle top. And my Judge is just a fresh Judge every once in a while, so nothing special there. But I don't know, they're kind of unique, but that's all I need. Make it really easy. Make it light. Like if I could just go to tournament, just do that. Like, okay. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I find it funny that I bring a giant cart with like 20 discs and I only like use 3 or 4 of them during the round. That's
why I've got 3 Felons and 2 Zones, and it's like, well, why have all these ones that are going to confuse me anyway? Just put the same disc in my bag 4 times over to fill up all these space. They're not sloshing around.
It just looks cool.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I like all the pockets in this new bag, so that's kind of trying to compensate the pockets for some more discs. But it's just, you got to find the weight balance at that point. You got to walk still with it. So
that's why you need a cart. Carts are awesome.
I had a Zuka compact, and I didn't love it. But I'm in the woods and the hills, and it just was tippy. And so my next one would be like what is it, like the all-terrain or something, like something wider like that when I save up some coin for that. I just saw one go for $50 on Marketplace, and I missed out on it. So waiting for a deal.
Well, you got to sell some of your dyed discs.
Well, That's why I'm here, to kind of help promote, get my name out there, kind of show people what I've got, and just want to try some new experiences and just see what other people are looking to have done. So,
Righto. Well, we'll shamelessly plug you at the end. But one last question. If you had to pick a pro disc golfer to play around with and hang out, who would it be and why?
well, I guess just one. I would say Barella, I think, and it was even before how he's done this year. I just think he can rip it, and I think that's just impressive. And it'd be in between him and Ricky, I guess. Like,
Okay.
that's just my two. I don't really watch a whole lot of pro disc golf. I've watched a few of them on like YouTube when the wife lets me take over the TV for a little bit, but so no, I guess that would be. I've watched a few of like the distance competitions, and I think it's pretty impressive how Barella can rip it.
Nice. You got to pull the Bluey away from the kids to watch some disc golf.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you don't even say that word. Like, you just say, you look at the wife, she's like, what did she say? Like, B word. Like, what? Like, the show with the dog? Like, you don't even want to say like that, or Blippy. You don't want to say anything like that. You know, just don't even say those words around here. So, pretty funny. Blippy! Yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I take Bluey over Blippy all day. Like, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the podcast. I'm honestly really excited to see where you take your disc dyeing, and I would actually love to have you on in maybe a year to see where you're at and how you evolved.
That would be so cool. That would be awesome. Definitely.
So I have a very bad memory, so if that time comes, remind me.
Oh, definitely. It's all about the follow-up, right?
Yes, exactly. And if you want to help support Josh, definitely go check out his Instagram. It's Sota Disc. I don't know if I think there was an underscore.
Sota Disc _Dyer. So
Okay.
That's what I've got for now. It might just change to Sota Disc, but because I'm thinking of some other avenues other than disc dyeing. But yeah, for now, Sota Disc Dyer with a little underscore in between disc and Dyer.
Gotcha. So definitely go check him out. And if you like what you see, buy one of his discs, or, request a commission. I'm sure you're happy to do one.
Just tell me what you want to see, and I think it'd be kind of cool to just try it too. So just reach out. Let me know what you guys think of my work. I've got my cover page right now is that Trippy Bender, so it's kind of easy to pick out.
Nice. All right, Josh. Well, again, thank you for being on, and I'm excited to see where your disc journey goes. But until next time, guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.